Welcome back to Dungeon Master's Corner. Today, we explore the consequences of being the first mice to find the cheese. It's not always good to be the early bird. Welcome back to another episode of Dungeon Master's Corner. My name is Brian, and with me today are...
Nicole?
No soup for any of you!
You may be able to tell we have Andrew back with us again today.
Hi, right, that's my name, Andrew.
I mean, sometimes you don't always remember, depending on the
I got
day
so
with
many
Devin.
bits going on in my head, sometimes it's just like, I just get distracted very easily.
Bits and bobs. But today we are back in Wildmount, talking about another interesting encounter with our dear friend Bevan.
Hello, Bevan.
So Nicole,
Bevan.
why don't you take that one away?
So this story took place shortly after their little investigation of the Morale Pal's murder. They befriended the apothecary, elven lady named Rosie, who was absolutely taken inspiration from the TikToker Tazy, who plays a, apothecary, beautiful elven sorceress, and I love her content. So she sent them on a little mission she was gonna make some sort of potion. She needed some ingredients from the swamp.
Yeah, I would believe I was still Asher at this point.
You were.
You were.
And I don't remember if this was before or after we mailed her book back to her.
This was before. This is before you left Blade Garden entirely.
That's right, because I stole her spell book.
The book with spells that are not very high level at all. Can you hear the concern in my voice?
No, not high at all. They're totally fine. Nothing to be worried about.
Wish.
The problem with that was the fact that I was a warlock and stupid and didn't really understand how to read the book. I didn't know how high level it was, so that was not a concern. Which is why I felt no concern at the time about taking a job from her to go out into a swamp to collect ingredients for a potion.
Yeah, it was fine. Just a little fetch quest.
Stole from her and get her to pay me.
Bevan got to hang out with his friends. That's all he took from that.
So
And
they
a soup.
travel... We'll get to the soup. So they travel across the mountains, and I had, some table of random encounters and things that they could pull from. And one of the roles was just an abandoned campsite. So I describe it as the way it was abandoned, there was still, more recently abandoned, probably, because there was still
fire
a
going.
Fire going, food actually cooking, booze or alcohol to the side, perfectly normal for travelers to randomly come upon this with nobody around.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that at this point, Bevan is still the smartest person in our party.
Yes, and this will prove to everyone that listens to this, he is the smartest person in this party.
Phineas and I saw this and went, we're stupid, we're not dumb. No, we decided we were not going to get involved with this.
Bevan saw this, and he was like, ooh, free soup! And nobody stopped me, so I partook in said free soup, and even got a flask to go.
You did take a to-go container, which concerned me because you ate a second time.
Yes, I did. Which started this whole process of what happens next, because Nicole's like, one time I'll let go. Twice, I have to think of something now. And I feel like after the second time, you put a bookmark in it of, I'll get back to this. And then you told me at the end of that session, the exact words I just said. 1, I'll let go. 2, now I have to think of something, and I'll get back to you.
2, now we need to do something.
Yeah.
So you started having dreams after eating the soup.
It was very good, and the meat was very tender.
Yeah, I hear baby meat is very tender. I mean, what?
Especially when it's slow cooked, so it just falls off the bones. I mean...
It's so good.
So he started having the dreams because that food was left out. In theory, like, I started thinking about what could this really be? Like, why was the campsite abandoned? And I thought, I'm like, oh, maybe it was like an offering to some entity. And I'm like, what would be fun to play with? I know.
Soup gods. Thank you, soup gods.
I don't think he would appreciate being called a soup god.
Oh, we called him worse down the line. Let's be honest.
This is also true.
We'll get to that, but yes, in all intents and purposes, to Bevan, he was soup god.
So, it was over the course of how many nights was it? 2... And you were getting words each time and memories because you gave me a blank check about what to do.
Hold on. Actually, give me 2 seconds to get into my app, and I can tell you the exact words.
Oh, I'm there already, honey. I'm there.
Oh, I'm just getting to my character.
I mean, you could get to your...
add.
Yeah, because I know it was feast was one.
Yes.
Drink was another.
Yes.
Watch. Learn.
Confuse them. Which
was not a singular word, but it was a thing to use. And
Nicole,
make them suffer.
That was checkmarked even before this whole thing even happened. Because trust me, everyone was already confused with how I was playing him. So
this is true.
And make them suffer. It was 50-50 depending on the fight, and he's a good person, so he never intentionally made anyone suffer, but a punch to the face is gonna hurt for a couple days.
Or just engaging in prolonged conversation sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, blood vessels
the headaches.
Popping left and right. And the DM,
the headaches, man.
God himself, which is Nicole, were popping left and right, so...
But, you know, he got some memories, some commands. He started getting connected to the betrayer god known as the Cloak Serpent in Exandria, Zahir, god of assassins, and we did some fun shit with him.
Well, we did some fun shit with him, and we did some fun shit to him. I think Zahir was a bit complicated for our dear friend Bevan.
Oh,
Bevan,
no,
you
yeah.
came up with a better name for him, as I recall.
I remember Archie or Asher or somebody telling me the Cloak Serpent. So Bevan referred to him as Serpy, because that's as far as his mental capacity could remember.
And we heard that, and we ran with it.
Yep.
We referred to him as Serpy, to the point where we forgot his actual name. Nicole would have to remind us. We would just refer to him as Serpy.
Andrew would remember, but Bevan would not. But also...
Brian would forget. Brian just remembered Serpy.
That's fair. But Zahir would fucking hate it. But he was
Andrew, call him by the proper name.
Fine. Serpy would hate it. And it made me laugh and giddy with joy because I was pissing off a god, but not many people were worshipping him. And down the line, which we'll get to, he wanted Bevan to be his champion. So he was just putting up with this because I can mold you. I can mold you is what he thought.
It's like he's
very
so
wrong.
He's so stupid. I can mold him. I can use this blank slate of a person.
Yes. And
twist him.
All he was for Bevan was his imaginary friend, which Bevan would talk to himself all the time anyway. So basically this went on for a couple sessions and no one really noticed because of the simple fact, oh, Bevan's being weird? He's always weird.
Took us a while to catch up with that one, yeah.
Yeah. And then he would basically talk to him like a Dear Jane letter. Where it's just like, hey Serpy, how's your day going? Making the people suffer, Bevan. How are you? Just like, oh, I'm good. Thank you for the soup before. It was really delicious.
The best part is he never asked you how you were. He never really answered.
We never really cared.
No.
You inferred questions that weren't there. You might as well have been talking to yourself for this guy. But the thing is, like, because of when we finally caught up to this, we decided that Serpy gotta go. But in the process of making Serpy go, we were going to tarnish his reputation. I believe I flooded one of his temples.
Yes,
just completely flooded it.
You flooded one temple where you found his artifact.
Yes.
And then had to learn how to unmake it.
Yep.
So we went to another temple, which I'm pretty sure we crushed a bunch of eggs.
We did.
Yes.
Did we blow that one up? I feel like we blew that one up.
No, I don't think. Well,
no, I think that one still stands, if I remember correctly. We did almost throw Bevan into, like, the furnace.
Oh, no. I almost did that to myself. Let's not get coy here. Like, I was mind whammied because I was in the temple and my wisdom saves were not going well. So, yeah. And nobody knew what I was doing but nobody knows what Bevan's doing. And
Ever.
The only thing that saved me there was because the environment's turn would hurt us with fire if you're too close to the lava, because the whole thing was I jump in lava and something happens. I don't know if you want us to go into that right now this second.
I mean, you can if you want. You're certainly welcome to.
I will happily do that then. We're literally like, I was going to become
Soup.
a sentient, well, that, yes. But my mind, the little that was there, was going to be put into a sentient weapon of the cloaked serpent. So basically I was usurping the weapon we were going to destroy, and we were fighting at the time because we threw it in. It got pissed at me because the cloaked serpent wanted to exchange one for the other, and I was mind whammied about to jump in of my own accord, being like, do I have a save, Nicole? Do I have a save? And I'm at the edge, ready to go with, I'm gonna say about 4 hit points left, about to jump in, because once I'm in the lava, that's it. I am the weapon. I become the weapon of the cloaked serpent.
Oh god, the poor champion.
And everyone's looking at me like, is he actually going to do that? Like, is he actually going to roleplay this to his death? And I'm like, fuck yeah.
I was just thinking that as you reminded me of that. I'm like, oh god, could you imagine this assassin going into the temple of the cloaked serpent like, yes, I'm going to be Zahir's champion. Hi, I'm Bevan.
Are you Serpy's next champion?
Yeah. No, that was my thought as well.
My favorite thing about this was the fact that we were besmirching his name everywhere. We kept telling people about Serpy being in your head, and then saying he preferred the name Serpy. We got clerics of other gods referring to him as Serpy.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
But I will say before we continue, for the audience, I survived. But the only reason why I survived is because the environment turned, hit me with the fire damage, and I went down before I could jump in. And that is the only reason I saved from becoming the cloaked serpent's thing. I have plot armor. Bevan has plot armor, and he's had it since episode 1.
I wouldn't call it plot. I wouldn't call dumb luck plot armor.
I would.
It is. It's pretty dumb luck.
Oh, I'm fully aware, and I will accept it, but in my head, I like the term, oh, I have plot armor, and it's one of the things. Nicole didn't give it.
No.
I just found
God.
it in her world somehow. I'm just like, oh, what's this? I'll put it on. I should have died so many times in this game. It's...
I mean, there's the theory about how the reason you survived is because you aren't real. By the way,
yeah,
we did talk about that on another episode.
We did.
But Bevan, tell me, what is your feeling about not being real? Are you real? Are you not? What is your thought on that?
What is love? Baby,
That's the next episode. No. Stop giving spoilers.
That's basically like we do questions in the beginning, and most of my answers are either nonsensical and no one questioned it because it's Bevan, or
Song lyrics.
Yeah, pretty much.
His greatest fear is macrame.
And we
I
have
still
used
remember
that
that.
in game.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have.
We have thrown macrame on him to keep him out of trouble. We had to Google what macrame was.
Apparently, a net is macrame. From what is what we've determined in game.
Technically it
Technically.
is.
And it's a paralyzing fear.
Yeah. So, Nicole, other than that netting is technically macrame, what have you learned of this journey of soup to almost Bevan soup? Free soup to almost Bevan soup.
That is a great question in context.
And
And out of context.
I mean, I guess even harmless encounters can become harmful to my mentality.
Andrew just gives psychic damage is what it is.
Yeah. That's a more accurate way of putting it.
Bevan
but
is
it
a
is-
conduit of psychic damage.
But it does lead to some really interesting things happening, and discredit of a betrayer god, which just means the next one gets to be worse.
Pretty sure the next one is pretty much worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not
Yeah.
but that's not Bevan's fault. It's not Bevan's fault, is it?
No, it's Charles's.
Oh,
fine.
Charles' fault. Oh God, what's Archie's fault gonna be?
I don't know.
Well.
You killed someone's son, so yeah, I feel.
I didn't kill his son. Happenstance killed his son. I just happens to be standing pretty close.
What do you think Bevan's existence is?
Happenstance, yeah.
J'accuse!
I didn't kill Pebbles. The book killed Pebbles.
We'll get to that later.
I blew up the book, which I still say should have imploded, not exploded.
Agree
Not to say you couldn't have
disagree.
killed him through implosion. You could have sucked all the air out of the room, and that could have killed him. But I stand by.
That probably would have dealt more damage to the ship, though. Which
That's-
would have
I
ended
prefer
in
you
more
not-
deaths.
Do not hurt my ship. I'm very protective of my ship. Anyway, thank you for joining us for this episode of Dungeons Master Corner. I have been Brian.
I've been Nicole.
I am Andrew. And take down the ship, Nicole. Take it down!
Do not
Take it
touch
all
my
down!
fucking ship. I will take you down. I will throw Bevan off that ship. Let's see how much falling damage you really can negate. I've thrown someone off an airship to their death before. I'll do it again.
Brian, it's me, and I'm more clever than that person. You know I'll survive somehow. I will probably die instantaneously, but I will be like almost so stupidly close to winning, you won't know if you succeeded until I die.
That made 0 sense, and we're moving on. Bye!
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 Take it away, outro guy.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Dungeon Master's Corner. If you'd like to support us, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/reliably chaotic so we can afford to eat. That's it. We're millennials. Free food is free food. You can also drop us a line on Twitter at Reliably Chaotic. We'd love to hear from you.